Habits. Aristotle, the ancient Greek philosopher, lived around 2,500 years ago and believed that you need to cultivate the cardinal virtues of justice, courage, temperance, and prudence if you want to achieve the good life. Here's the good news: to be virtuous and thereby achieve the good life, all you need to do is practice the virtues until they become habits. Take a moment or two to absorb that. Think about what a habit is for a second. Whether your habits are good ones or bad ones, they all share a common characteristic, don't they? They are at heart a set of behaviors that you do without thinking about, without much effort. Think about what Aristotle is implying. One of the greatest minds in human history is essentially telling you that, if you want to live the good life, you need to form a set of habits which, without much effort or thought on your part, help you to be virtuous, to resist your vices, to lead a good life. Of course, the trick is, how do you form good habits in the first place? After all, most of us have formed quite a few bad habits over the years which stop us achieving our goals and leave us drifting further away from the good life we seek. So how do we transform bad habits into good ones, or establish good ones in the first place? The answer, as you might expect, is that it depends and involves asking and answering some quite profound questions. What kind of person are you? Do you find it easy to get into patterns of behavior, or do routines bore you? Probably the best way of exploring the problem of forming good habits and being virtuous is by way of an example. Let's say you want to find the time to write a novel. If this is your goal, then a question you could ask yourself is this: are you prepared to do things like set your alarm clock an hour early so you can get more writing done before you go to work? Or are you prepared to pay a fee to join a writing course which could inspire you? Or will joining a writer's group at your local library do the trick? There are even more questions you can ask yourself. For example, are you prepared to ask someone to hold you to account, to be a kind of personal trainer, except this time for your novel rather than your health and fitness? Are you prepared to pay some forfeit if you don't reach a certain number of words in a certain time period? Even more basic than all these questions is this one: how important is it for you to achieve this goal, and what price are you prepared to pay to achieve it? After all, in business, as in life, there will always be an opportunity cost to the choices you make. So what exactly are you prepared to sacrifice to achieve your creative goal? When it comes down to finding the time or money you need to write a book, or the need for a wage each month for, say, the electricity bill, what's likely to be your priority? The questions I'm asking you here are going to be the same sort of questions you'll ask yourself whether your goal is something like losing weight, or paying off your debts, or finding the resources you need to achieve some other deeply held dream. Take losing weight as another example. You could ask yourself the following: are you prepared to go out running, cycling, or swimming on certain days of the week and at specific times, no matter the weather or how great or terrible you feel? Or are you more likely to do the exercise if you do it after work in, say, a gym? Or does the thought of exercising to lose weight fill you with dread? Instead, would you rather lose weight by cutting down your calorie intake? If cutting the number of calories is your preferred method of losing weight, then how will you measure this? How many calories can you cut in a week, and thus how long do you think you'll need to be on a diet to reach your target? How will you sustain your weight loss when you reach your target weight? Of course, whatever questions you need to ask and answer to achieve your goals, there's an important reason for you to develop good habits. And that's because your nieces and nephews are watching. If they hear you say to them that they should reach for the stars, but they only ever see someone in front of them who procrastinates; if they hear you say to them that they should eat their vegetables and exercise, and yet they only ever see you stuff your face with junk food and spend hours in front of a TV, and if they hear you say that they should save their money, but all they ever see is you getting into and out of debt, they're liable to think you're a hypocrite. They may even choose to imitate your example and adopt your worst habits. Look, I'm not trying to give you a hard time, and I don't want to come across as holier than thou. But it's simple, isn't it? As Gandhi said, my life is my message. So the question you have to ask yourself is, what kind of message are you giving your nieces and nephews with the way you live your life right now? I hope whatever answer you give to that question, and whatever message you write with your life, it's a positive one. I hope that your nieces and nephews will be inspired to be virtuous by the example you provide. And I hope that for you, and for them, the good life is only a few good habits away.